Hello and welcome to another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. I'm Wayne Highlander with Bona Adhesives.
I'm Rob Johnson with the Bona Training.
Hey
Good
Rob,
afternoon, Wayne.
got a question for you, Rob.
Shoot.
Has there ever been a time in your life when you've been an early adapter to technology?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. But before we go there,
Okay, talk to me.
uh, I think we need to do a little bit of shout out to one of our own shows
Yeah?
when we picked our basketball teams.
Oh, yes.
Holy mackerel. Has that got the industry spinning?
Yeah, you got some
Spinning.
calls too. Yeah.
I got some calls, but I think my favorite call was from Sprig Lynn that I was so shocked that he was a first
Yeah.
rounder.
I knew he was going to catch that. I thought you
Oh my gosh. Him and I were talking about it and laughing, and I'm like, Sprig, listen, dude. I said I had you as a third round, solid third round on my list.
yeah,
I said I was shocked when Highlander
picked you that
picked
high.
you as a linebacker in the first round, first pick of the, and he's like third round, and oh my gosh, him and I were
Mhm.
just cracking up about it. But boy, we have heard a lot of stuff
Yeah.
from Team Canada, from all the teams and guys that we picked. And look, if we didn't mention you, we're sorry, because
And there,
everybody deserves to be on that list.
yeah,
But
there's,
boy, that was a lot of fun. But the feedback that we're getting from that show has just been hysterical.
yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
been great.
There's so many guys that could have made that list and should have made that list. It makes it so hard. I mean, but like you said, it's just we gotta we can't put them all on the team, and it's tough, man. It's tough,
But the
but
the calls I've been getting,
the calls have been pretty
it's
funny.
just been really
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You
So
put
thank
you
you very
put
much, everybody. It was
you
great.
you put
Glad you
him in
enjoyed it.
you put him instead of me. Are you kidding me? Hey, we're all having fun here. Yeah, that was
But
a lot
that's
of
what I
fun.
said to Sprig. I go, Sprig, you're a linebacker,
Hey, hey,
third round.
like I'm a judge of talent. Look, I thought Kentucky was going to go all the way. They got bounced by Tennessee in no time. So
What, did you see that? Well, I think all the number one seeds
are in.
are in.
I don't know if that's ever happened. I know it's happened at least one other
I
time.
think it's happened one or two other times.
Yeah. Huh. Well, it's going to be. It's going to be. I mean, all the teams are incredible right now, man. So it's amazing talent out there. All right, early adapters. I can tell you
Early adapters.
one time that I was definitely an early adapter, and times that I've missed the boat more than I've been on the boat for early adapters. But the one time I was an early adapter, but I didn't necessarily get on it after that, and I'll explain what that was. It was water-based finish. Living in California as a contractor, heard about water-based finish early on in my career, and I thought I better learn this technology. So I did embrace it early on, but it didn't. I didn't necessarily switch over most of my business to water. I still stayed probably 80% oil for a long time after that. But the thing is, I wanted to know how to do it in case it came up. You know what I mean? In case anybody ever asked me to do it, I wanted to be proficient in it. I wanted to feel comfortable in it. I wanted to know all the techniques into it until eventually we did switch over altogether. But I saw it then. I talked about it before. What really got me was my father-in-law financially saw the benefits of doing it. When you counted how many trips to the job, and then you extrapolate that out by 50 weeks in a year, how many trips it was saving me, it just became a no-brainer to me. So you're talking about sometimes 50 days in a year of less trips to jobs, which finally got me over. But while I was an early adapter, it took me still several years after that before I switched over completely. I'll say 95% anyhow. So yeah.
Well, when you were talking about doing this show, I thought, all right, I really sat down and started thinking, and this is definitely the oldest I think I've ever felt in my life. Um, I started on my dad's crew in 1975.
Mhm.
So, this summer will be 50 years
Wow.
in doing this
Wow.
in one capacity or another. Doesn't that sound just fake? Like 50
Yeah.
years, you should be dead,
It's a
right?
long time, man.
Yeah.
You're
So
you're up in you're up in my
I,
Uncle Stan status.
that's insane.
Yeah.
When you say it out loud, it's
Yeah.
nuts,
It's
right?
crazy.
So I wrote down some things that we embraced over the past 50 years. It's just hysterical to say that. Guess how many things I came up with?
Two.
14.
No kidding. Of times that you were an early adapter. Okay.
14 things we were early adapters. Now, some
All
are
right.
small,
Okay. Okay.
okay?
Yep.
But I mean, even though it was small,
Yeah.
it was still,
Yep.
when it first came out, we were like, no, no way, that's a waste of money.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I know you're going
Okay.
to laugh like hell.
All right. I'm very curious to
Okay.
hear these.
Yeah. Boxed edger paper.
Wow.
Boxed edger paper. It sounds like nothing, right?
Yeah. Like everybody buys them in boxes.
Everybody buys them in boxes. I don't think we started buying boxed edger paper until the 90s.
Were you taking 12-inch paper and
Well, Pete and I were using 8-inch paper, 12-inch paper, and for the longest time I thought, this is the way to, save money.
oh my
It's
gosh.
pounding out. Yeah, how's that?
No
Right?
kidding.
It doesn't sound like much,
Yeah.
but boxed
What
edger paper.
was it actually cheaper? I mean, I know that take the time out of element out of it.
For I don't know, okay? But oh,
You think you might have stopped and went, you know, maybe we don't have to
no,
do this if
matter
it's
of fact, the guy that we used to buy our stuff from, Pete and I, one day he goes, "How come you guys never buy edger paper?" And I'm like, "Because we just cut it out of the rolls. What are you talking
yeah.
about?"
Are you trying to rip us off?
Yeah, yeah. And he
Yeah.
and he says, "You got to be kidding me," because this
Wow.
guy's got a wall of edger paper, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And he goes, "What grits do you use?" And I, told him a couple of grits, and he gave us a couple boxes of edger paper.
yeah.
And you would have thought that he showed us how to create fire,
Wow.
just going with a couple of free boxes of edger paper, and that was it. He hooked me. I don't. We never looked at prices. I just always assumed this is how you do it. Okay,
Wow. Wow.
boxed edger paper. Is
That's
that
a
sad? Huh?
that's a trip, man. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So
Um,
so so you were not an early adapter.
no.
You're about as late as it gets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with this.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. What I want everybody to do here is don't
Is-
do like I did. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't fight adapting to things early.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the guys who adapt to stuff early are the ones who are going to make money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So if you see something new, jump on it.
Yeah.
Don't be a Rob Johnson now. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. What's number 13?
If that guy didn't give us the free edger paper, I'd probably still, Bum would probably still be cutting his own discs.
Damn,
Right? No, don't do
that's hard to believe.
that. Belt sanders.
Yeah.
We were we held out as long as we could,
We did
and
too.
then uh, oh, I was at a distributor event, and I remember the guy. I think it was Hummel. I'm pretty sure it was a Hummel guy. He was there, and I will never forget him changing out the paper. And I'm like,
Mhm.
these belts in.
Yeah.
They ain't
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
only one way to, right?
Right.
And I remember him like not even looking at the belt or what he was doing. He was
Yeah.
looking at
Yeah.
me and talking to
Yeah.
me, took
Wow.
one belt off, put another belt on,
Mm,
and he just
Wow.
started, and then he let me run it for a little bit, and I'm like, huh.
Mhm. Yeah. Yep. It's
Plus,
funny.
the other thing is, I couldn't believe how smooth it was.
Well, we didn't change up because I heard they didn't cut as aggressively. So that no, you're not gonna play with one of those. We want something. So I also was way behind on that one as well.
All right, my next one was water-based finish,
Okay.
and
But
I'd,
you guys started it though with the
well,
bowling alley
that's
finish.
right. I'm going with a different angle on
Okay,
this one.
okay, okay,
This was one that we adapted to on day one.
okay.
That the we were we were all in from the absolute very first day. Matter of fact, it wasn't even for the lanes. It was just the approach finish.
Wow.
And we used to have to put 3 coats of lacquer on the approaches,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And when the guy came in with the water base, it's like, yeah, it's only you only need to do 1 coat. That was it. That's all we did.
Wow.
No sealers, no nothing, just 1 coat of approach finish, and that was it.
Wow.
And because it was water based and it
Yeah.
just held up so much better than lacquer, right? And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
get the bowling shoes with the weird soles to try to slide the
Yeah.
finish off. Well,
Yeah.
the more you used it, the slicker and more forgiving it got. It was just an amazing product.
Did you
But
did
it was, think about doing a 60 lane house, right?
yeah.
And 60 approaches with 3 coats of lacquer.
Wow.
You're just like, that's 2 days of coating
Yeah.
just on the approaches, not the
Yeah.
lanes.
Yep.
And
Damn.
now, this guy's whacked it all out in 1 coat.
Easy.
No
Yep.
smell, no,
Wow. Wow.
crazy. So right
Yeah.
away,
You
right away, we got,
you
all right,
jumped on it.
yeah, this is
Wow.
it, you know,
Wow. Wow.
definitely.
That's something else.
So we were right on the water base. All right, here's another one. I mean, God, I'm an idiot. Dust containment. We
Yeah.
watch people make so much money with dust containment, charging extra and not being one spot cleaner than me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We
Yeah.
couldn't leave a dusty job. You couldn't get dust in your finish. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we would spend hours cleaning. You did the same thing.
Yep.
Cleaning and hanging, masking paper and
So
zip walls and all that stuff.
yeah. Back in the day, we didn't have vacuums at first. We broomed everything. We push broomed everything, and we always kept the putty knife in your back pocket to get the corners. And that's we put lacquer and shellac and whatever poly on it. But then we went to vacuums. We went to those home vacuums, like the 3 horsepower little ones you could hold in your hand, like really small. I can't remember the brand of them, but we loved them because they're really small and compact. And they
Yeah.
were just house ones. They were expensive, by the way, and they did not last any time at all. When
No, they weren't made for our dust.
No, and not at all. And when
No.
the backpack vacs came out, that was a lifesaver. I thought, oh man, this is pretty cool. That was a big switch up. Yeah,
That was, yeah, to go from a canister vac to the
yeah,
backpack was
big
just
deal.
unbelievable. But I mean, the like when Bona, I think I'm pretty sure Bona's first dust containment system was the
Mhm.
trailer,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah,
right? That was the
yeah,
first big one. Bona
yeah.
came out. Well, Bona's
Hmm.
always led the way
Hmm.
as far as dust containment.
Yeah.
I mean, we've always been the leader in that.
And
But
now HEPA filters on the vacs. So
yeah,
come along a
yeah.
long way.
But I remember when I saw that trailer and I thought, found out how much they were, and I said, those guys are not going to sell one
Yeah.
vacuum. Okay. And then I think I saw 2 or 3 after about a year driving around my area
Yeah.
and losing work to these guys,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
they were higher priced,
Oh, somebody dollar square
charging
foot
an
more.
extra buck because
Yep.
they're going to use dust containment. And all I'm telling people is, look, I have dust containment too. I use these
Mhm.
bags.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
house is going to be cleaner when I leave, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So did not jump on that one.
Hmm.
So I guess we could call this, the 12 mistakes Rob made in his life. Okay. Planetary Sanders.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, not many did planetary Sanders
no,
until really until the ours came out. I mean, there was one out there, good machine, but you really wasn't, you didn't see a lot of them. So
no,
yeah, I think that's
no.
forgivable. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just kind of wrote some of them that I was involved with and then some that have happened over the 50 years. That's where
Yeah.
Planetary Sanders came in. Water-based stain,
Uh-huh.
another one.
Yeah.
Water-based stain.
Yeah, but
Um, and I think one of the issues that we have with water-based stain isn't really the application of it.
Mhm.
It's the whole people for generations have been using oil-based stains.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, you think about the power drive, but I think about, chroma.
Yeah.
That's an industry, that's a change in the industry type thing.
Yeah.
And it's going to take people some time to embrace it because, I mean, like I said, generations of floor guys have been using oil-based stains.
Well, you're in Boston, right? I mean, you're a Boston guy.
Yeah.
And this is pretty sad actually. Just came out in Wood 4 Business Magazine. Insurer sues wood refinishers for $3.8 million in Boston restaurant fire.
Ooh,
Stain rags, they're saying is he suing three wood refinish companies allegedly caused fire by estimated $3.8 million. Second oldest continuously run operating restaurant since 1868.
what was the name
Uh,
of it?
Failing to improperly disposing of flammable substance used for wood refinishing is what they're claiming. Okay, so it's very sad. What's
Does it have
the
the
name
name of
of
the restaurant?
let's see, Jacob Worth Restaurant.
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
You might have been there as a director.
Um, okay, so anyhow, it's very sad. But I do think, and it seems like we've been seeing a lot of these recently. So I think that's an innovation to your point that has to come along and change the industry. I said that before that, we're not making NASCAR money doing this industry where we it's enough to put our lives at risk and our bodies at risk and everything. So embracing new technology, I think sometimes uh, is good for a lot of reasons. Let's just say,
Okay. Yeah. And like I said, I mean, when people say to me, um, talking to me about Chrome and everything, and they're like, well, I always try to tell them, like, this is like the ground floor of a new dawn. I go,
yeah,
this is just like the first time I saw water base.
yeah.
You
By
know
the
what I
way,
mean? This is huge.
I hope whoever was involved in that job, being best of luck. I mean, and maybe it's not even them. Maybe they'll find out it was something different. I hope that's the case.
You know
What?
something? That could be the case too. Restaurants, um, my dad and I, we sat in an 8-lane bowling alley about a half hour from our house.
Mhm.
And that night we got a call. The the bar is on fire. It was a bar and a bowling alley restaurant.
Yeah.
And the whole place went up, completely went up.
Wow.
And you know, the owner had said to the
Is that the
fire
first time?
chief,
Is that the first time you guys skedaddled out of town?
well, here's the crazy part, because my dad was a little nervous on this one, but
Yeah.
we had used water base on everything. It was a 100% water based job. And all the dust was, we never left lacquer dust or anything anywhere near a building. And, everything was gone out of the building completely and away from the building. And then we get a call like, hey, the place is on fire.
Mhm.
And when the owner said, yeah, I just had the lanes done, he goes, oh, that's it.
Wow.
He goes, we've had these before, and we had
Yeah.
this one guy who used to dip pins in lacquer, and he lost his place, and
Mhm.
all this stuff. And so the whole thing was getting pinned on us. And then when they finally started to remove all the rubble and everything,
Yeah.
the lanes were barely scorched.
Wow. Thank
Everything
God.
fell down on the lanes,
That's
and
just
there was like you can go to this bar and restaurant, like I said, and they cut up all the lanes and they use them as bar tops and tables and everything. So
wow.
I brought the kids there last year and I said, look at that stamp on that lane. It was our family stamp
No,
that we used
no
to
kidding.
stamp the end of every lane. And they're like, wow. I go, yeah, they had a huge fire here. They were going
Wow.
to pin the whole thing on us, and they were blown away that actually the water-based finish kind of saved the lanes. It was
Wow.
nuts. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Wow. That's a scary moment for your dad at
oh,
that time.
yeah.
I can't
Oh, yeah.
imagine.
Because, yeah,
Yeah.
he was thinking he was going to get pinned for it. But,
Yeah.
um,
Is that why he
yeah,
made you a
that's
sub? Is that
terrible
why?
what happened in Boston. I hope nobody got hurt.
Yeah. Is that why your dad made you a subcontractor so he could blame it on you for
Actually,
liability
not too far
purposes?
after that, they made me vice president of the company.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
yeah, so yeah, so they got
we're,
pinned it on him.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, we're way to
Yeah.
the top.
Yeah, my dad, I think he's just a comptroller.
Wow.
I'm VP. Yeah,
Jeez.
there was some shady stuff. They had me signing things and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You're a kid.
I could someday they'll
Yeah.
be banging on my door. Who knows?
All right. Let's go through these.
Uh, Next one down. What we did not embrace. Training and knowledge in general.
Yeah. Hey, knowledge in general. We don't need education. Stupid. Yeah.
Look, you do 40/80, okay?
Yeah.
That's what my
Yeah.
grandfather did, 40/80. You're
It's good
good.
enough for him. Good enough for
Yeah.
you.
20/40/80,
Mhm.
move on.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. And oh my gosh, I remember hearing about training, even when Pete and I left the family business and started our own deal. You would have thought at that time, like, hey, this would be a good time to, maybe go to an NWFA school or,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think back then it was NOFMA. Maybe go to the NOFMA
Yeah.
school and
Yeah.
see what's going. Nah, no,
Nothing.
no,
Wow.
no.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
we embrace. So yeah, there's another thing. We
Mhm.
embraced nothing. Okay. Here's next one. I'd really like people to embrace this because we've said it a million times on the show. This is money in your pocket. Please embrace Green Guard certified products and
Yeah.
Green Guard Gold.
Yeah.
Just it's just free money. I
Yeah.
mean, it just really is
Yeah.
unbelievable. Oh, I wrote water-based stain twice. All right. Here's another one. Pneumatic nailers.
Really?
We did not embrace that
I couldn't embrace them
ever,
fast enough.
ever.
Wow.
I thought was your little McGillicuddy nailer. What
Hey,
was the name of that nailer?
hey, easy. My
No,
little
no,
what?
no. The McGillicuddy. What was that crazy nailer you always
Oh,
had?
the Kavanaugh?
Kavanaugh. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
the Kavanaugh nailer.
Well, there's a great example of not embracing technology
Yes.
because that there's never been a machine that's beat it. There's never been a machine no one will ever. I mean, I'm right. No machine has ever come along better than a Kavanaugh nailer to this day.
Was that a
And
pneumatic?
nope, it was this is your hand. You hand the mallet and and the stool. You rode across. You got sat down on this cart, and you fed nails into the top of the hopper, and they came down, and you hit each one with a mallet. It was all done manually, and to this day, there's never been a better machine. Not even
So
close.
don't embrace anything then. That's
Not
it.
well. That's
McGillicuddy is the way to go.
that's an instance where that technology didn't really move forward.
Okay. But that was the top nail floors, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. All right. All right. My next one. Marketing.
yeah.
We never embraced marketing. We
No,
just, yeah, we did a direct mailer one time, and that, I thought I was,
doing something. Yeah.
yeah, I thought I was in suits, right?
Wow.
Just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Don Draper. Look at
Wow.
that. Look at
Wow.
check the box here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Send
Look at
it,
me.
send it
Yeah.
back to us. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So this next one I put down for you. I know you're going to talk about this one. The advances in adhesive technology.
Yep. Yep. No doubt about it. I mean, the user friendliness of cleaning off the floor, not itching the boards. It's not your arm not falling off your shoulder. Talked about that a lot of times. No question about it. It's the future. There's no denying it. So yeah.
Well, I thought you'd go longer on that one.
No, but I got some stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. I only got two more. Um, how do I say this? Multi-head sanding, the multi-disc.
The multi-disc, yeah. Yeah.
The multi-disc we did not embrace in near enough time
Yeah.
because what I found using a multi-disc, it could cut what our process was if we had embraced a multi-disc when it first came out,
Mhm.
it would have cut our time in half.
Yeah.
Because when we were done drumming, because we were using drums, okay, when we were
Yeah.
done drumming, we would hard plate everything
Yeah.
because a hard plate would take out the chatter marks and
Yep.
then go to a screen.
Yep.
Where I swear to you, the multi disc does both at the same time,
All
and that
these
would have
things,
cut. What's
all
that?
the all these things you just mentioned, hard plating, screens, all these different things that don't even exist anymore. The manual nailers and all these type of things don't even exist anymore. The reason why I wanted you to say these things is that you resisted the change, right? And but
Yes,
look how much easier that little bit of learning curve of learning new things made your life easier. Um, and I would say the same thing. I'm just going to talk about a couple of things. I just put down hand sanding.
I
We've
only have
got
one more. I got one more, and then
oh
we'll do
go.
your
I'm
one.
sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean the multi-head, multi-disc, just incredible. And my last one was protective gear.
yeah. Well, I agree with that in myself.
I mean,
Yeah,
it took me it it took me 15 years
yeah,
to put on ear protection. I mean,
yeah,
wake up,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. I agree with that.
wake up. Yeah.
I showed you how much my hand is swollen up.
Let's see it.
It doesn't even look
Let's
like my.
see the
It doesn't
see
even
the
look like.
back of your hand
Doesn't
like
even look
that.
like my hand anymore. I'm going to go to a bar and just put my hand on the table.
It looks like a float in the Thanksgiving
Yeah,
Day parade.
it does. I'm just gonna put my hand on the
You're gonna
table all
start
night.
doing this. It's gonna.
Yeah, and then I'm just gonna look at I'm sort of mad dog at people like what? They're gonna see this big hand. Well, man, look at the hands on that dude. Meanwhile, if they just took their finger and flicked my hand, I'd be doubled over in pain.
Don't punch anybody because they think they
Oh,
get hit with a water balloon.
I couldn't even think about it. All right, real quick. I mean, buffing on stain is one that was a game changer. I resisted for the longest time. That I like,
Oh, there's another one.
man,
Holy mackerel! I didn't even think about that one. Yep.
man, that has to happen. But and I'm not going to go into too many more, or maybe even any more of them. But my thing about this is that, like I said, resisting going to schools, like you talked about, resisting training, resisting some of these other techniques, resisting selling green guard gold, resisting all these other things, is that when you finally got on board, what it did to your career and how much it furthered your career, made life easier for you more than anything. It improved your efficiency in a lot of ways, right? I mean, a lot
Well,
of the
the thing is, I look at all these things that I resisted,
yeah,
and all it did in the end was resist making more money. That's what
yeah,
it was,
yeah,
right? If I had embraced half of those things,
Yeah.
think of how much more money we would have made. Yeah, I mean, whether we're saving time, doing a better job, getting more jobs done, whatever,
It
just
could have,
unbelievable.
it could have gave you a competitive edge, right? I mean, no question, a lot of these things for your customers would have enhanced their experiences. Work, having like talking about dust containment stuff like that, open you up to new markets. I mean, you're the one that first talked about a lot about that as the first one through the door, the first one that starts using the new technology and this type of thing. It's a great sales tool. So I think some of those are important.
Well, that
And
was one of the good things that, one of the smart things that Peter and I did was we embraced white stain back in the 80s and we embraced water base. So
yeah,
we got a lot, we got a lot of extra money for
mhm,
those two.
yeah,
And you would have thought that I would have said, hey, look at that.
yeah,
Why don't we just embrace everything that's new and make tons of money?
yeah.
But just amazing. Yeah.
We talked about on the last show with the power drive being able to retain and attract new talent is a big deal. And I don't think it's a small thing either. I think it's a really big deal. Like you said, when you get a guy behind that all day versus getting a guy on the machine on the edger all day, what his experience is like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and future proofing your business too with some of the new products that are out there. I think those are reasons to because I always use my two brothers as an example. If we went to change, one of my brothers was like, all right, well, let's, when we start tomorrow. All right, cool. The other one would just fight tooth and nail. Or why are we did it this way forever? And he's a good mechanic, so I'm not bagging on him. But it's just the mindset. It is life is so much easier once kind of got to embrace some of this technology in schools and stuff like that out there. So I don't know.
Talking about the power drive and a new kid, right? And we were talking about that the last show, how you can take a kid and really in 15, 20 minutes, now let's say that kid's been with you for a month and he's really getting good on a power drive.
Yeah,
Now, if I'm an owner and I get my kid set up and everything, now maybe I go out and I look at a job during the day instead of having to go home and look at stuff at night,
yeah,
or maybe I take an hour a day or whatever and work a little bit on marketing my business and just
yeah,
invest a little more in the business rather than a job because I know I get the job covered.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and even if it's just not having to do estimates at night, and I can leave this kid here, jump out, do a couple estimates, and come back and have lunch with the kid or whatever, whatever.
yeah, yeah.
But you are going to really make some time. I mean, if you did the same thing, you'd work all day, go
Yep.
home, grab a quick bite, shower, and then go
Yep.
out and look at jobs at night.
Yeah.
That's a long day, you
Yeah.
know?
No question. I
Yeah.
think also if you took like, all right, one or two areas that might be able to help your business and can that you're struggling with or whatever, and say, all right, can technology help me in these areas that I'm struggling with? And a lot of that is, man, computers, the iPhone, using it for work, the new apps that are on there. The phone is a tool now. And it can be a lot of other things. It can be distractions and what have you. But that with iCloud, with putting pictures up into the cloud to protect yourself from potential problems down the road. If someone says, "Hey, you damaged my door," or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of this new technology, man. Today, the game is hard today for a lot of reasons. As we always talk about. But I think embracing some of these the really can make your life so much easier for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, the other thing it does, it kind of makes you a pioneer. And we talked to a lot of we have Matt Garcia on the flow on the podcast. We've had Josh Hansman on the podcast, which I think a lot of these guys are pioneers in a lot of different ways. And look what it does for in that regard too. It gets your name out there, you become the go-to guy. And there's a lot to be said for that too. And there's nothing like you said before, hey, I got a guy. I got a guy who knows
Yeah.
how to do that.
I
Once
got
you
a
did
guy.
once
Be that guy.
your distributors realize you're that guy that they've come and distributor needs to sell their products too. And you bring in new products, and you're the guy that's out there using the products and giving them feedback and everything. Is it can add a lot to your career as well. All right, Rob, I appreciate it. You you brought some good examples. I'm proud of you. I was going to go on a little bit, but I saw you were on a roll. So,
As I was reading those examples, I was getting embarrassed with each one that I would read. Like, what a
well,
jarhead!
you know what? Here's why you shouldn't be. 50 years, brother, 50 years in this trade, and all the things that you've seen and where technology is today from where it was there. In many ways, you say these things about yourself, but you're a pioneer too. In a lot of ways, with the training and stuff that you've gone through and done, you are also a pioneer in training more than anything. I'll tell you the reason why. Because when you train, you're not just say I'm some guy reading something out of a manual, and I'm a corporate stooge, as you always call me, you rotten bastard. But it's from the heart. It's from experience. It's for your love of the trade, and you bring it as real as it gets. You're a regular guy, simple guy, not a particularly smart guy. Uh,
Easy, easy does it.
I'm kidding.
Easy. That's called
Sorry.
a kiss and a slap,
It
everybody.
was kind of a backhanded.
That's a
No,
kiss and a slap. That's all
no,
right. I do that a lot.
no. But
No,
in
thank
all,
you. I appreciate that. Yeah,
what
I
I mean by
appreciate
that
that.
too. No, you do a
But look at this
fantastic job.
face. Look at
Well,
this face.
listen, I'm gonna say,
Does this
man, when
face look like I've been doing this for 50 years? No,
you've
I look like a kid.
you do look like a kid,
I look like a
uh,
kid.
crazy whacked out kid, but the kid nonetheless.
Yeah. The
Um,
weirdo.
but you've left your mark on this industry. I mean, you think about the amount of people you've trained over the years. It's got to be thousands, right? It's
Oh,
easily
geez,
thousands.
last year was 680
Yeah.
just
So
last year.
okay, all right. So you've been years and
Yeah.
years in training,
When
and
you
this.
said I left my mark in this industry, I thought you were going to mention all my trips to HR through the years
Well,
and
that's a different
different.
situation. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You can take the boy out of the jungle. You can't take the jungle out of the boy.
Yeah.
Uh, so, but if you look at all the people you have trained over the years in this industry, man, and you've left your mark on this industry, and your passion and your love for this industry is second to none, man. So, so yeah, you are a pioneer in a lot of ways too. So don't sell yourself short. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. And I just watched a 4 2-hour episodes about Don Cherry. He was a coach, a hockey coach, uh, does a big thing with Hockey Night in Canada and everything.
Mhm.
And you really, I mean, you got to see him from, his 15 years old right up until, the end of his career. And a couple of people in Canada, you said you really need to watch this. And I was like, okay. And now I figured out why. I'm gonna say this. I don't care. I am definitely the Don Cherry of our industry.
All right.
Um, this guy got in more trouble for
Mhm.
saying things, and
Mhm.
so many times he would say something, and everybody's like, "Why you got to drop these grenades?" And he's like, "What are you talking about? That I was just telling it like it is." Okay, but if you guys haven't, if you're a hockey guy, especially if you're a hockey guy, this um it was on not Amazon. What's that? Amazon Prime.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you what, I couldn't stop watching. It was just, but
All right.
me, I'm a hockey
Yeah,
guy, and
yeah.
so it was
Well,
great. But it's
well,
hysterical the way this
the
guy was.
the reason you can get away with it is that at heart you got a heart of gold, brother. So,
It's all with love. That's what I try to
ah,
tell everybody when
yeah,
I'm hitting you
there
with
you
a
go.
stick.
All
No, I
right,
don't hit you that hard.
all
Just
right, all right. Pretty soon we're gonna be hugging. Let's get out of here. This has been another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. Please stay tuned for another episode.